right, how is everybody doing? I am live here with Chelsie Kenyon. And as you saw from the post, I have, well, actually, she can't see me. So hopefully you guys, let me check to make sure that I am good on my, well, actually, my wife's going to check for me. But hopefully you guys can hear me. You can see me. You can see her and everything like that. But I am back for another interview. I'm actually, everything's good because I hear myself talking in the background. So we're good. And we're live. So can you see me now, Chelsie, or you still can't see me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah,
It's
everything
okay,
looks
I
good.
can hear you.
I'm going to complain to be live. So just know that be live after I get off. So it looks like we have a couple of people who joined, which I cannot see exactly who they are. So thank you guys for joining. But like I said, I'm back. I'm actually changing up everything. I'm get ready to get a new Facebook group for you guys who are actually employees and you're wanting to transition into entrepreneurs. You're kind of in between, or maybe you're just, a new beginning entrepreneur. I'm actually going to be starting a Facebook group as far as that to help you guys out transition and everything, things that you need to do, tools that you need, software that you need, and just have interviews like people on here like Chelsie, experts coming in, just explaining how they grew their business. Now, obviously, I grew mine just pretty much based, online, but there's other ways that you can grow a business as well. I'm actually going to be bringing in experts and entrepreneurs, business owners to come in and to explain that to you guys. And I just want to give the floor to Chelsie now. As you saw in the background, she has a direct sales business that she pretty much built from the ground up with no ads that she told me. She has a coaching business as well that she built from the ground up, because a lot of people always talk about ads and everything like that. And before I hopped on earlier today, it was somebody saying, that's pretty interesting. That's a good topic to have, people that are growing businesses without ads, because all these experts and gurus and whatever you want to call them, they're pushing Facebook ads or Google ads or just run ads, marketing and ads. But she is an example that you do not have to have ads to going to open up the floor to Chelsie and let her take it from there.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're good.
Okay. All right. Great. Yeah. So I cannot wait to talk about this. Thanks so much for having me on, Mike. It's one of my favorite subjects to talk about. Actually, I have a lot of favorite subjects that I could talk about for days and days because I'm a talker. But so I'll try to stay on task and on target because I know people are tuning in today to learn how they can build a business without ads. Now, when I first started business, I was in direct sales, and I had to really roll with the punches because this was 8 years ago, back when Facebook allowed business pages to show in people's timelines. So the goal was to get people to like your business page, and then all of your posts would show in their timelines. I actually built up to, I don't know, I mean, it wasn't six figures yet, but a pretty nice income 8 years ago, just with my business page. And my business page didn't even have my name on it. It had no picture of me. I was just a random entity on the internet. And I had 200 friends on Facebook, and I built up my business page to 10,000 likes, which was really great at the time. And it definitely helped me build up a nice income. But then Facebook changed the rules of the game, and they started pulling the Facebook pages out of people's news feeds. And it was disastrous for those of us who had built everything on a Facebook page. So I literally, after a year of building that up, after, having 10,000 fans on my page and doing contests and all this stuff, I literally had nothing. I had to start completely from scratch. Nobody was seeing my business page anymore, unless they were going to go look for it. But everybody's so used to seeing business pages in their news feeds. So it's just a very different time. So I quickly had to pivot, and I started focusing on my Facebook profile. And sorry, hold on one second. So through doing that, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about building organically. And by the time ads started becoming popular, ads really started showing up in a big way, probably about 3 years ago. That's when they started really, really becoming a big thing. And now it's almost like people just automatically assume, oh, if you're building a business, you have to invest in ads, like right off the bat. And I would really love to clear up that myth, because, unless you already have a following, unless you've already given people something, most ads these days just go right over people's heads. Like, we tune everything out. just like in the olden days when we'd actually have to like sit through, or like they'd actually play the commercials, right? We couldn't fast forward or anything. We'd get up and use that as our snack break, right? Like we'd refill the popcorn, we'd go to the bathroom, we'd come back. Even ads that pop up on Facebook, we've learned to tune this stuff out, okay? And so ads are becoming increasingly difficult to get people to pay attention to. That's why in ads there's like retargeting, because you want to talk to people that have come to your website, been to your website, have started down that path. So now instead of the old like 3 or 4 years ago where you could just show an ad to somebody and boom, you'd get all these sales. No, now you have to build like a customer journey. You have to give them something free and then warm them up with a little this and a little that. If you're extremely lucky, you are one of the 1% who throw an ad out there and sell, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 coaching programs on one webinar. Okay. But that's not normal. That is not normal. So you're kind of playing the ad lottery when you're doing that. So what I found that if you actually use your profile properly, you can actually create a lead generation machine. If you go to my profile and look, I get tons of comments, tons of engagement. I'm talking to people, I'm present. So my way takes a little bit more time up front because you are actually having to put the legwork in, but it's a lot more lucrative, okay? So when I started doing this, when I started actively working my Facebook profile and doing all the right things and figuring things out and trial and error, because Facebook is just my jam, things just really started taking off, and I started noticing patterns, and I was able to pivot even more and like shift and go, okay, this works. And when I started my coaching business, over a year ago, I was doing weight loss, and the very first program that I launched, I did it all on Facebook. Okay, no ads, no anything. I went live on Facebook. I talked to my people, but because I had hyped it up, okay, so I did a lot of hype beforehand, and I have like an actual strategy, an actual system that I use. So I hyped it up, I went live, I shared it, and then I shared it again, had a lot of conversations in Messenger. I ended up selling, I think, 13,000, like right off the bat, with my first actual like professional launch, okay? Because I had kind of tested the waters before, just going live and saying, hey, I'm going to start this group. It's $100, blah, blah, blah. Did that a couple times. That worked out okay. That was like $800 here, $1,300 there, whatever. But when I actually sat down and I created a strategy, implemented it, and stuck to it, boom, thousands and thousands of dollars. So I jumped right into that six-figure level right off the bat and have maintained it. And it's because I built a really phenomenal Facebook profile. I have done this 100% from my Facebook profile, nothing else, no ads. I'm kind of on Instagram, more just playing around. But I will say 90% of my business comes from a Facebook profile. They start on my profile, then I take them other places, okay? And that's the thing. Oh, now I can see. Now all of a sudden I can see. I don't know what you did, but now I can see like a little thing on the top there. Okay. Oh, you're taking them to my profile. Perfect. So when you have people that come to your profile, you want to give them a next step to take with you, because to be honest with you, most people on Facebook are checking you out. They're stalkers. Okay. They may see that you posted something somewhere of value. They're going to go to your profile and check it out. It's kind of like a little virtual business card, and it can also be the entrance to a funnel. So I see so many people are just like not paying any attention, not caring whatsoever about their profile, and thinking it's all about events and business pages and ads and all this stuff. Bullshit. It all starts on your freaking profile, man. It all starts on your profile. So there's so many ways that people are coming to your profile, and you're leaking people. So they come to your profile to check you out, and then they see your profile. They are underwhelmed, not impressed. Guess what? They're leaving. They're absolutely leaving. So your profile better be eye-catching. It better have lots of content. It better, and this is another thing, social proof is huge these days. I'll tell you what, if I'm looking at you and I'm like, yeah, I think this guy's got some interesting stuff. Okay. And I go to the person's wall and the cover photo isn't clear. They have the traditional canned statement of, I help blank do blank by blank. And then they have no comments on any of the stuff they're posting, or one or two comments. Sorry, I'm out of there. I'm absolutely out of there. Okay. So you have to assume that people are coming to your wall, and are you repelling them or are you magnetizing them? Okay. You have to be magnetizing people in this day and age, whether you're running ads or not. Okay. The Facebook profile is never going anywhere. And here's another thing too about the Facebook profile is that, we've bounced around. Business pages stopped working. Groups stopped working there for a while. They're now making a comeback, but you never know when Facebook is going to change that. But you know what's always there? Your profile. And as long as you are commenting in groups and interacting with people, they're coming to your profile. And then once they go to your profile, what's happening, people? What is happening? They're probably leaving. So you kind of have two directions to go here. You can either sink a bunch of money in ads and play the ad game, play the lottery, hope it works out, or you can tighten up your Facebook profile, get it looking really good, polish it up, and actually start attracting people. And once you start that, it's momentum. It keeps going. It keeps going and going and going. Pretty soon you have 2, 3 comments per post. Then you have 5 or 6 comments per post. Then you start having 20 or 30. Engagement is so important. And I can't tell you how many people have said engagement doesn't matter. You shouldn't base your worth on how many likes you get, how many comments you get, this sort of thing. Here's what I have to say. Engagement absolutely matters. You're crazy if you think it doesn't. But here's the problem. Most people don't know what to do with the engagement. So somebody comments and you're not taking that to the next level. Somebody puts a comment there and maybe you're like, oh yeah, great, thanks. Okay, yeah. But you're not continuing that. You're not moving them forward into that relationship with you. So now the engagement is wasted and you might as well just who cares about the engagement, right? So the key is to magnetize people to your profile. Okay. Utilize that engagement because every little engagement is an opportunity. And then taking it off of your profile, having those conversations in Messenger, getting them into your group, getting them your freebie, whatever it is. So you can sit down and you can study your ads manager for 12 hours a day, trying to figure out this ad and putting this and blah, blah, blah. Or you can just spend some time on your profile, tighten up ship, and start your lead generation there. Either way, it's going to cost you. It's either going to cost you a little time or a little money. I like time. I'd rather pay out my time a little bit. And the other thing too is when you do ads, that's a one-time thing, it's a one-time thing. It doesn't keep giving. My Facebook profile is the gift that keeps giving. People are constantly coming to my profile. People refer people to my profile and say, hey, go check this girl out. She knows what she's doing. Go over there. Go look at what she's doing. Get on her profile. Follow her, right? It's the gift that keeps giving because my profile, it entertains people. It adds value. I talk to people. I'm a real person. In my stories, I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So people get to see like I'm a real person, right? So you can't be like all business all the time. Nobody wants that anymore. People want to do business with people. So go be people, right? So that is in a nutshell how you can actually run a business on Facebook with 0 ads if you are strategic and thoughtful about it. If you go into it with intention, right? Not just like, oh, Facebook, I'm going to go post about this. And oh, I don't like the weather today. And I'm just going to post a never-ending supply of inspirational quotes. Guess what? That worked in 2017. It does not work in 2019. And it certainly is not going to work in 2020. So get yourself a coach, like I have actually a 6-figure profile program, actually. Find yourself somebody though, reach out to me if you want to, or find somebody in your circle, find somebody that can help you get your profile up and going. And then you never have to pay for ads. Okay. And I've decided I'm going to push for that 7-figure mark now, and I'm going to do it with no ads. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm going to do it with no ads. Ads are kind of like icing on the cake. Once I get this thing going, I don't know, maybe I'll try ads in the future, but I think it'd be really fun to be able to be like, yeah, I got up to 7 figures and I didn't run a single ad. To this day, I've never run an ad, and I'm very successful. So if I can do it, anybody can do it, okay? I don't have a college education. I don't have a degree. I recently became certified as a neuro coach, so my coaching has a layer of like neuroscience to it, but that all came after the 6 figures. Okay, that all came after. I started investing in that higher level education after. So you absolutely don't have to have ads if you're just willing to educate yourself on social media and do it the right way, right? Like if you go to somebody who says, oh, I'm going to teach you how to do your Facebook, and you go to their Facebook profile and it's crickets over there, That's not your person. Always hire somebody who's doing what it is that you want to have happen. Okay. So that's it. So that's how you can actually get your business out there using Facebook instead of ads. So let me know if anybody has any questions. I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, that's a good point. I see that Mercedes joined us. Thanks for hopping on, Mercedes. And there's another person now because actually she's commenting in the post. And she says, I don't know, can you see the comments, Chelsie?
I can't.
All right. Yeah, Mercedes says it's good stuff. So she's excited about what you're sharing. If anybody else is excited, go ahead. And as Chelsie said, if you have any questions, but let me touch on, if you have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the comment section. But let me touch on the fact that you said time. You said that, you'd rather spend time than money. Obviously, we have a lot of people in the microwave generation right now, and a lot of people are, they want stuff right now. I mean, as soon as, you put it in the microwave, sometimes as soon as you put it in the stove, I mean, they want to, a nice, well done steak, and then it's red when they put it in the stove and they want it out in 2 minutes or so.
Yeah,
so
and you know what? I have an 18-year-old daughter, so I get it. I get that generation completely. And I also have to say that if you're going to invest in something to speed things up, invest in coaching to be able to understand social media, because anything that you invest money in, it could speed things up. So you can invest money in ads or you can invest money in coaching, so if you want to look at speeding it up and taking things faster, then you just get a coach rather than trying to figure out all the Facebook stuff on your own.
All right. So I guess exactly at what point did you, let me see, actually Mercedes has a question here. She said she looked at your profile. It says, what business did you scale to 6 figures? And I'll let you answer that, even though I know the answer to the question. So.
So I started out with direct sales, and I got that up to 6 figures. I was the number 4 recruiter in the company. I was actually only the 4th person to hit the top of the company. There's now, I think, hundreds that have hit the top of the company. So that was the first one that I did. And then I resigned from there. So I'm no longer in direct sales. And then I started my company, and I was doing, basically my company is called Epic Woman. And so I do coaching on lots of things. I do coaching on social media. I do coaching on weight loss. I do neuro coaching, a lot of different things. So I'm one of those that I don't have a specific niche. I do what the hell I want. I do what I want, and I have a lot of fun doing it, but I'm not an in the box kind of person. So I don't have, I tried that when I first started out. I was like, weight loss. I'm going to do weight loss because I lost a lot of weight, and I am layered in this neuro stuff, and I figured out how to rewire your brain around weight loss. So I took that and ran with it, but then I realized I was pretty miserable because I wasn't able to teach about social media, which I love, and I wasn't able to talk about all these other things. So now I have, and I just literally started it this month, my Epic Woman group that actually covers all the things. So when it comes to my coaching business, it's just about being an epic woman, whether you need help building a business, whether you need help losing weight, whether you need help with relationships, like whatever it is. It's all an Epic Woman. And I have an Epic Woman group that I built from 0 to, I think we're at 620 as of today, 620 beautiful humans in there. And the engagement is off the hook. Every time I post in there, we've got 30, 40, 50 comments going before the day's over. So like I said, it's about that momentum. It's about building that momentum.
So let me ask you this. As far as when you first got started, I mean, because if I'm an employee looking to, it's like I have no idea what I want to do as far as a business. I mean, you said pretty much that you got started in direct sales. And I mean, we can kind of touch on that because a lot of people actually, even I started in direct sales and didn't do too well. Actually, I signed up one good guy, and he was pretty much just promoting everything everywhere, talking to everybody. Every time you saw him, he was talking to somebody. But I mean, as far as introverts and everything like that, it's like, how can you expect somebody just to get on, I guess, social media, do lives, and even just make posts and stuff? Because some people are actually scared to make posts online, just regular posts, just text posts.
Yeah, I think people are oftentimes afraid of what they don't understand, right? Like, I'm afraid of jumping out of an airplane because I really don't understand it. I haven't really taken the time to understand how the parachute works, people are afraid of what they don't understand. And that's why, like, when I'm coaching somebody or when they're in my program, I give them a step-by-step formula. I'm all about systems. I'm all about step-by-step, because once you have that step-by-step, you're like, oh, all I have to do is this. All I have to do is this. Honestly, I'll be honest about lives. These days, unless you already have a following, unless you have like something that people need to physically see, lives are actually kind of going like down the tubes. Stories are really where it's at. So lives, I mean, you could build a bit. I've made thousands of dollars off of a Facebook post that I didn't go live on. So I don't like to put too much emphasis on lives right now. I don't think it's necessary to have a lot of lives. They're just not as effective as they were, like, say, a year ago. A year ago, they were extremely effective, but then marketers, we always go in and we abuse everything, right? We say, oh, that's working. Let's all do it right now. And then we go and we all do it. And then people catch on and they're on to the next thing. So I just don't think lives are actually that great right now. In a situation like right now, how many viewers do we have right now?
Actually, right now, it looks like there's one person that actually on now. So Mercedes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Some people will catch this on the replay, which is fine, but lives in general are, I think, 10% of the strategy. So if you're out there and you're an introvert, you're thinking, oh, I just couldn't do this, I couldn't go put myself out there. Bullshit. That's just a story you're telling yourself. And listen, honey, if you want to make six figures, you're going to have to stick your toe in the water. Now, if you go to my profile, you'll see I'm not even in my own cover photo. Okay? Now, you do need your face to be in the profile. But, you know, that's a little tiny thing, right? And then you can choose something cool to put on the highlight thing. The thing is, it's all about interaction. It's not necessarily anymore about me showing up and telling everybody what to do. It's more about interaction and conversation. In fact, I have a whole other course that I have just on conversations alone, because people are so clueless now on social media. They don't even know how to have conversations anymore, because we're in this generation of like, yes, no, seriously, but you don't even spell seriously, right? You just put SRSLY. What is that? I have no idea, but people don't know how to talk anymore. They just talk in these little hieroglyphs and emojis, which I understand. That's cool. I do it too. But if you don't know how to have an actual conversation, you're going to be in trouble. And conversations, even introverts have conversations. Introverts, extroverts, all the people have conversations, right? Unless you're a hermit. If you're a hermit, then you shouldn't be trying to build a six-figure business. But yeah, I don't think introverts, that's not an excuse. You can still absolutely do all of this and still be not as visible. You know, like, you don't have to be totally visible. Even if you're running ads, you still have to be visible, right? In fact, now they're saying, like, with ads, because I still follow all the ad stuff, even though I don't run them. But now they're saying authenticity is better. They want you to take a selfie, like a grainy selfie, so it looks very authentic, or just like hold your camera and go live and talk to people and don't look like you're put together or ready to go. That's the new trend in ads right now, right? It's the trend in stories. It's the trend everywhere. People are going back to wanting authenticity over that super polished brand. So, you know, now's the time to dive in and capitalize on that before it flips back again. And then everybody starts wanting that super professional brand, which might not appeal as much to the introverts. Does that make sense?
That's a good point. That's a good point. And Mercedes had another question, and she was saying, yes, stories for sure. And she says, nice. She says, what are your thoughts on free Facebook groups? I guess she means free Facebook groups. So I guess she's talking
about free Facebook groups. Yeah, I think groups are definitely making a comeback. So if you rewind about, I don't know, if you rewind about, I don't know, 5 years ago, probably about 5 years ago, us marketers went cray and started making all these groups for all these different things, and everybody was all into it. But then it got to be too many. We started adding people to groups that they didn't ask to be added to. The direct sellers got in the mix. They started going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Everybody groups, everything, and it ruined groups. So for a couple of years, people were like, "Get me out of these groups. I don't want to be in a group." Ugh. Okay. So it's just now coming back around to where actually people started getting smarter and using groups the right way. So yes, now is the time to have a group if you actually do it the right way. And what I mean by do it the right way, I mean, you know, well, there's a lot to it, but you have to have like a mission. You can't just make a group for the sake of having a group. There has to be a mission or a vision behind it. You know, and to work the algorithm, you want to make sure that you have 100 people in that group waiting list before you let anybody in. You want to make sure that the group is jam-packed full of good stuff. Pack it full of value. Okay, pack it full of value. 20 or 30 things of value in there. Then what you want to do is you want to have 3 or 4 people go in there and comment on everything that's existing. Okay, comment on everything that's existing. And Mike, you're starting a new group, so here's all this for you too. Have somebody, like those 5 or 6 people, and just tell them, hey, I will give you my free niche workbook, or I'll give you this, or whatever. Give people an incentive. Say, if you can go on my group and comment on 10 things. Okay. Then what you want to do is you want to let 50 people in, because you can only tag 50 people at a time in a Facebook group post. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to let 50 people in. You want to tag them in a post, and it's all done through Facebook. You have to be on the computer, and Facebook in the upper right-hand corner on your group, it'll say you have 50 new people this week. And you say, okay, I accepted 50 people. Now I'm going to make a post, and I'm going to welcome these people. I'm going to put on that post, I'm going to say, thank you so much for joining. Here's what this group is about. Here's what you can expect to get from it. Because oftentimes people join groups and they're not really sure why, or they don't really understand, whatever. Okay, so you're going to tell them that. Then you're going to say, make sure that you go to the welcome post, watch the live, or read the rules, however you have it set up. And then on that welcome post, you're going to make sure that you say something like, please comment your name below so that I know that you saw this. Now, you want to have engagement through the roof, because when those 50 people come in, it pumps up the whole group. That means everybody in the group is now going to see more posts. So you want to make sure to have at least 3 or 4 questions in there, maybe a couple of polls, again, some value. On every single post, you want to encourage a comment. So always have something there for them to interact with. So you set it all up like that. Then after you welcome those 50 people, then you welcome the next 50, and so on and so forth. And then even to this day, I have 620 people in my group. As soon as I rack up another 50, boom, out goes another welcome post. And I welcome them. I'm like, here's where you go. Here's what you do. Here's blah, blah, blah. And I give them the little spiel. So if you do your group the right way, they can be phenomenal. But I see too many people open up a group and then they add 10 friends. And then they're like, what do we do? Here, I created this group so we can all talk and communicate. But then nobody talks and communicates. And then you trickle in another 10 people and there's no activity and nobody's doing anything. And okay. So if you're going to do a group, do it strategically, do it smart, and then they're good. Okay. And then your group won't die because they'll take off a life of its own. My group, they're posting now. They comment to each other. It's not even just people commenting. It's a person commenting saying, here's my win for the week. And then other people underneath are going, yeah, that's awesome. Yay, good for you. Blah, blah, blah. They're loving it. They can't get enough of being in that darn group. Because I was strategic. I didn't rush it. I said, here's what I'm going to do. And I took my time with it. So if you do it that way, groups are amazing. Yes, 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 go have a group. Now, if you're just going to go open a random group and blah, 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 no, then don't do it.
Now, should the groups be, I don't know if Mercedes touched on this. I don't know if she actually wanted you to answer this question or if she was just talking about Facebook groups in general. Should they be free or should you charge people? Well, obviously your group should be free, but how do you feel on charging people for a Facebook group to come into a Facebook group?
Well, if you're charging them for a Facebook group, now it's either a subscription or a program.
Yeah.
So, it's totally fine. Again, whether you're, you really can have both, and that's a whole other question more about, I think, what your business layout is. It totally depends. I don't think there's a good or a bad. I have groups. I have my free group, and then I have groups that are, paid subscriptions that I put content in, so they pay for those. So it just depends on what you want. Right. I don't think there's like a wrong or right. It just depends on the intention behind the group. Is the intention to support somebody who paid to be in one of your programs? Is the intention to actually put the program content in there? Is the intention to create a tribe, a community where you can go in and sell your stuff? It just depends on what the intention is. Facebook groups can be used for anything, and I think it's all great.
And then it looks
Sorry if I messed that question up the first time. I didn't hear it properly.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I didn't have my listening ears on. Sorry. Let me fix that.
That's fine. Yeah, so it looks like Dean joined us. Dean says done is better than perfect. So I guess he's commenting on the fact that a lot of people just pretty much wait, and say, well, I don't have this perfect. I just go ahead and take action immediately. So.
I'm going to have to kind of disagree on that one. I'm going to go middle ground on that one because done is better than perfect, but if you slap it together without thinking about it, you're going to end up with a pile of crap on your hands and then be looking back going, why didn't this work? So I think that, done is good, but done with intention, done strategically. Yeah. I mean, you have to jump, right? We're definitely not going to wait for it to be perfect, but there has to be some thought behind it.
That's true. That's true. And Mercedes was saying that's exactly what she was talking about. She said she has one paid subscription group, but she was wondering if a free group would be worth it to collect leads.
Yes. Yes. If you have time. Absolutely. Yeah. I think, like I said, here's the thing. If I had to pick one thing, I'm going to vote for Facebook profile. If your Facebook profile is still garbage, no, don't be starting no free group.
Good point. That's a good point. And Dean was saying, oh no, definitely have some thought behind it, 100% with intention.
Yeah. Yes, but action is important. That's why I said I'm going to go middle ground on that one, because there does need to be some thought, but at the same time, we do have to take some action and then also learn as we go and improve things as we go. So definitely.
And then that was actually a good point that I want to actually touch on with Mercedes. So I know that you mentioned in your story earlier coming up, it was obviously, I guess you had issues with the Facebook algorithm. So how important is it to start collecting email leads immediately as far as email? Because a lot of people talk about how these social media platforms, they control the algorithm, all that, and then kind of, as you just saw, pretty much destroyed your business. So do you have a big email list, or do you think people should, start collecting emails ASAP?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think in this day and age of technology, you should always be in the habit of being omnipresent, being in multiple locations, and then using one to feed into the other. So what I did is, before I even had an email, because here's the thing, if you just go start trying to build an email list without a following, you're going to be just collecting one here, one there. They're not engaged, and it's going to probably not be too pretty. But if you start building on social media and you start building a following and then start building an email list, now you're going to have a more engaged email list. So I do believe that I just now started building an email list a couple months ago, just now. I built an entire 6-figure business from my Facebook profile alone. No ads, no email list, no nothing. Just engaging, having conversations, and that's it. I didn't have a Facebook group. I didn't have nothing. So I do think it's important to have to have an email list, yes. But that should be like icing on the cake, right? That should be something you think about building, like after you build momentum on social media. And when I say social media, it could be anywhere, maybe your jam is Instagram. Maybe your jam is Twitter. Maybe your jam is LinkedIn. Whatever floats your boat. Maybe YouTube, right? But build that following first, so that way when you do start building an email list, you have momentum. Your email list open rates are pretty high, right? I have some emails that go out and I get like a 50% open rate on them. If I would have started it before I built all that momentum, it would just be like crickets, kind of pointless. So I think you should warm people up first and then get them on your email list. And yes, it is important to have emails, because Facebook could die tomorrow, right? Instagram. One time Facebook, it was just recently, right? Just a couple months ago, it went down for like the whole day. And a lot of people couldn't access it. And it really did show you can be vulnerable to that. But I will say also, Facebook, if it does go somewhere, people will find somewhere else to go. There's already other platforms out there. So you wouldn't be at a complete loss, you know what I mean? Especially if you're building up things. Like, I know that people would come looking for me, right? They'd be like, okay, Facebook is down. I'm going to go find her on Instagram. I'm going to go find her there because, people want to hear what I have to say about stuff, right? So basically, yes, you need an email list, but don't overthink that too soon in the process. If you are not getting people to comment on your Facebook, then you're not going to get people to open your emails either. So one thing at a time, right? Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Dean says be omnipresent. So be everywhere
Yeah.
at
The
multiple
more
times.
places you can be, the better. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
But
guess
here's the thing. You want to go 80% on one thing and then dibble dabble to 20% on the other. Like, be everywhere, but don't spread yourself equally amongst everything. Like, I'm on Instagram on stories. I maybe post on Instagram once a week. I'm on YouTube. I create videos every once in a while, so I'm there, but it's definitely not like where I'm mainly at. Right? Does that make sense?
that makes sense. So I guess you're, well, I don't want to get too specifics or too specific with your audience or whatever. But I mean, a lot of people are talking about how Facebook is just for older people now. So do you agree with that? Do you see? I mean, if you have a younger audience, should you be on Facebook, or should you be looking at another platform?
Yeah, so definitely that's very valid, and I actually totally agree with that. I'm old, so I'm on Facebook. Yeah, absolutely. So the younger people, like, it basically starts like this. The youngest people are on Snapchat, then the next level of people are on Instagram, then the next level are on Facebook. That's pretty much how it works. And the money follows that. The people with the least amount of money are on Snapchat. The people with the mid-range amount of money are on Instagram. And the people with the most money are on Facebook. Again, this is averages. This is not everybody. Of course, there's 19-year-old millionaires that are on Snapchat, right? Like, there's always the exception to the rule. But for the most part, people that are a little bit older, they have their wealth established. They have a little bit more money to play with. Sometimes they might have more time. So really, it doesn't necessarily depend on who you are. It depends on who your audience, who you need to, who your ideal client is, right? So if you're younger and your ideal client is older, then you need to be on Facebook and just suck it up, sister. Go play with your friends on Instagram. And then when you're ready to do business with your ideal clients, you come to Facebook, right? So it doesn't really so matter much how old you are. It matters how old your ideal clients are.
Yeah, that makes sense. So looking back at your journey, so I mean, if you were to start over, would you do the exact same thing, or would you have another model, another system? I mean, obviously now, hindsight's 2020. So I mean, obviously you're successful without running ads.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think you
I
can.
actually was just on a summit where the question was, if you had to start from scratch and get to 6 figures in 90 days, what would you do? Like, you had no friends, no following, no nothing. So I'll kind of try to do a little recap of what I said, because that was like a whole other hour. I don't think we can do that today, Mike. But basically, I would start out by sending friend requests and posting lots of cool stuff for people to talk about on my Facebook page. So again, I would set up my Facebook page. I've set up my Facebook profile to be really killer. And then as people accept my friend request, I'm going to have stuff on my newsfeed for them to start interacting with. That's the first thing I would do, is just build friends, build relationships. And then I would start providing value. I'd start showing, like, hey, this is what I know. This is what I can help you with. And I'd give tons of free content, just like, hey, come check me out, right? Then that way people trust you. Then after they trust you, then you can be like, hey, I'd actually like to talk to you about this program that I have, help you take things to the next level, or this coaching or whatever. And I think this can go very fast. If you have 12 hours a day to sit there and mess around on, or 8 hours a day to sit there and mess around on Facebook, like it's your full-time job, this can move very fast. This can go very fast. You could be selling stuff before the end of the week if you play your cards right. But that would be my first thing, is to tighten up my profile, get my profile going, and just go all in on that and making friends. That would be the very first thing that I would do. In fact, I would focus on that 100,000,000% until I got to like 500 or 600 friends, got some followers, and then I'd try selling, and then I'd move into selling. But I wouldn't mess with having a business page. I wouldn't mess with a group. I wouldn't mess with creating events. I wouldn't mess with any of that. It would be my Facebook profile and making friends.
All right. And then Dean, actually, he came in a little late. So he was saying that he says, I don't know if you touched on it, which she did, Dean, a little bit, but I don't think she specifically named 3 things. But his question is, what's 3 things that makes a killer Facebook profile?
3 things that make a killer Facebook profile. Number 1 is social proof. So you need to be posting good content that people will talk on. Okay. So social proof would be number 1. Number 2 is the personal branding. Okay, you have to have something that stands out. So your cover photo, your highlight photo, your profile photo, make sure that they're intriguing and interesting. Like last night, somebody sent me a friend request, and it was his face, just a collar, shirt, whatever, and he was just a very basic smile with a white background, white shirt, and then his cover photo was like a bookshelf, like just a zoomed in so you just saw books. I was like, I'm on his profile. I don't know what the hell he does. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he has to offer me. I'm out of there. So look at it from somebody else's perspective, like self-audit. So make sure that your pictures are looking good and eye-catching and that they show what you are doing or what you have to offer. In the past, I used to have my cover photo was me on stage, because that shows people like, oh, she's a speaker. She has spoken on stage. If she speaks on stage, then she's probably offering value. It might be worth to be friends with this person. So making sure that your profile is visually pleasing and also standing out and conveying a message. Do not be vanilla. Okay, so that would be the second thing I would do. And then the third thing to have a really killer profile would probably be just in the comments, talking to people. And, I know because the first part is having social proof, like the comments and content. So content is one, comments another, and visual aesthetics would be the third. So I'll sum it up like that. I actually, like I said previously, in case you missed it, I do have an entire program called the 6-Figure Profile. It's actually on sale right now for $297. If anybody's interested, totally happy to pass that info on to you, where I break down step by step exactly how to set up the cover photo, exactly how to set up the highlight photo. Man, people are screwing these things up so badly. How to post, how often to post, when to post short form, when to post long form, how to post short form, how to post long form. It's like a treasure trove of exactly. So, I mean, it would take me days to sit here and explain all the things that you would need to do to really tighten up your ship. But yeah, so that would be the top 3.
And Dean says, what about recommendations for content to get engagement? So, but I think, well, as far as my answer to that is, I would I think it just depends on your niche and your business. But I mean, I don't know if he's specifically speaking more about videos or images, which we kind of heard.
Yeah, no, it's really, I mean, if you think about it, people like to talk about themselves. People love to give their opinions on things. So ask them questions where they get to give their opinions. It can be like, seriously, you can get ridiculous engagement on asking pink or blue, tacos or hamburgers, mini blinds or curtains. Like, just ask any question. Practice. As you get good at it, you can start being more intentional with your questions. So if you sell jewelry, for instance, then you want to be asking things like, do you like silver or gold? You don't even have to say jewelry, just do you prefer silver or gold? Or if you sell jewelry, you could say something like, are you more of a necklace girl or a bracelet girl? Or, when it comes to earrings, are you like big earrings, or do you just like this? Whatever, just ask questions, because that's going to attract the people who like jewelry. Somebody who's not into jewelry isn't going to answer silver or gold because it's irrelevant to them, right? So if you use engagement posts correctly, you're going to attract your ideal client. You're going to actually attract the person that wants what you have. If I'm scrolling down, I mean, I'm almost pretty much vegan. So if I'm scrolling down my newsfeed and I see somebody saying, hey, tacos or cheeseburgers, I'm going to keep scrolling because I don't want either, right? So, but the people who like tacos and cheeseburgers and love meat are going to be commenting on that post. So gosh, if they were a butcher, now they're in business. Now they're having conversations with their ideal client. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So Dean actually says, he's being a little jokester here. He says pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, that'll get people talking. And if you're a pizza delivery guy, that's definitely a conversation that you want to be having.
So let me ask you this question as far as mindset, because I know it was a big part of me when I transitioned from employee to entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur. So how big is mindset, especially when you're transitioning? Because especially being an employee, you're used to people telling you what to do. You don't have your own ideas, or if you do have your own ideas, you really can't express them only in certain situations. But when you transition out of that and you're pretty much an entrepreneur, and every day, I mean, you can just pretty much have an idea or thought and you can just go after it. What type of, mindset things do you have in place would you recommend for somebody that is actually just transitioning to entrepreneur, just a beginning entrepreneur? What would you tell them?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I've been down that road too. I actually was a hairdresser, worked behind the chair for a very long time. And then when my daughter arrived, I just realized that I couldn't do the 10-hour days anymore, and working through the weekends and all of that. So I started actually a mobile hairdressing service, which actually was totally illegal. You're not supposed to go to people's houses and charge for hair, but I did. Don't be me. Don't do what I did. But yeah, there was a lot of entrepreneurial stuff ahead of that. Now I had to buy my own color. Now I had to figure out how I was going to wash their hair without a shampoo bowl, right? Like I had to be a problem solver and get this stuff figured out, and also figure out how to talk to people about these changes, because they're used to coming into a salon and receiving a certain type of treatment. Whereas when I go to their house, I have to unpack my stuff. I have to set up a space. I'm literally washing their hair in their kitchen sink with the special hose and everything. But I had to be confident about it. I had to act like, hey, this is what we're doing now. Isn't this cool? Blah, 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 and talk it up, because I didn't want them to feel like they were getting less because we weren't in a salon. So, but anyway, so I really think it depends on the person's personality type. And I think this is oftentimes overlooked because everybody just wants to say the canned response, well, you have to just dig in and never quit, and you have to schedule yourself, and you have to do this. But I think it's a bunch of crap. I think it depends on the personality type. Some people, I do a lot of color personality theory. I actually have a free training on it. But if you're a red personality type, if you're bold, if you're a go-getter, then you need to understand, like, you're going to be fine with going out there and saying what needs to be said and talking to people and having the conversations, but maybe you need help in another area, right? Like maybe you're not great with math. Maybe you're not great with numbers. So you need to figure out how you're going to manage the money coming in, and then you have your green personalities who are generally really great with money, but they don't like to talk in front of people. They're more of the introvert style. So you've got to then say, okay, I'm really strong with money and finances, so I'm good there, but I need to get some coaching and training on how to present myself, how to talk, how to have conversations, because that's my weak point. And, like blue personalities, I'm actually a blue personality, talkative, always going, moving. I'm all about action, progress, systems, moving forward, like all this stuff. But because of that, I had to really buckle down and work on creating a schedule, planning a system, because I was at this point where I had so much stuff that was working, but I wasn't even really sure why. Wasn't really sure why things were working, right? And that's a dangerous place to be in if you're an entrepreneur, if you don't even know what is working, to keep doing more of that, right? So I had to start writing things down. I had to start learning how to plan myself. I'm not that great with money right now, so I just bought a course called Navigating Your Finances so that I can be better about that, because it's not my strong suit. So I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all answer for everybody. I think you just need to look at what you suck at and get better at it.
That makes sense. But let's touch on this real quick. As far as you said, you were a color personality. So is there a specific, because I've taken personality tests before, so is it a particular test that you offer? I mean, is it like a Myers-Briggs, or I don't know, what is the other one? There's a couple of them, but I've never heard of it.
I actually I'm more of like a Jungian. Like, I like his theory. I don't so much like the Myers-Briggs. I mean, any personality test that you take is going to be good, honestly, because it's going to give you the feedback on where you suck. It's going to give you the feedback on where you need to grow. It's going to tell you the stuff that you're good at, and you're probably going to read it and go, oh yeah, I totally know. I'm totally good at that. That's great. But you need to know where you suck. So any test that you take, whether it's the DISC or, oh my God, there's just too many to list, right? The reason why I like the color personalities one is which is very similar to the DISC, actually, with a little bit of differences, but it gives you 4 things to choose from, or 4 aspects that you can be. which makes it very easy for me to have conversations with my clients and quickly figure out what color personality they are so that I can deliver the information in a way that resonates with them. Like if they're a green personality, I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, come join this program and you're going to go live all the time and talk to all these people. It's going to be great. They're going to be like, F you, no way. I am not about that. I want to be in my little hole punching numbers and filing and organizing filing cabinets, right? So if I'm talking to a green, I'm going to be like, listen, I know you may not be super comfortable with this, but it's important that you learn it. And you also get to do all this other cool stuff on Excel spreadsheets and blah, blah, blah. Now I've got their attention. And it's because I can talk to them in a way that resonates with who they are deep inside. And you can quickly do it when you only have to deal with 4 personalities. When you're talking about Myers-Briggs, now you're talking about 16 different personalities. And I've been doing personality stuff for a long time. And the 16 is a little rough for me. Like even trying to having this conversation right now, I can tell you have a lot of green in you, just with our little interaction. And, I wouldn't be able to tell that. Like, I don't know what you are as far as Myers-Briggs. I'm an ENTP. Most people have no clue what that would even mean or how they could talk to me in a way that would resonate with me, right? But 4 is easy. 4 is easy to memorize. And it's based on this old book, old-ass book by Tom Schreider, Big L Tom Schreider. If you're in the direct sales world, you probably recognize that name. It's a fantastic book. He explains it so well. And people have just built on that. I've even built on it, right? Like I've figured out things about these color personalities that aren't mentioned in his book. Just my years of studying it and analyzing it and just really digging deep into it. But yeah, all personality tests on the surface level for just to figure out what you suck at, pretty much all of them will work. And I do have, like I said, the free training that talks about, where I talk about how you can take these color personalities, sell better, recruit more, make more money, just have better conversations. Because sales, it's a conversation. And I actually have a personality quiz that you can take. It's on my website, chelseakenyon.com. You can take that personality quiz and find out what color you are.
It's interesting. It's interesting. So actually, let's go ahead and wrap it up now. Usually I end with this question since we're kind of touching on personalities. This might have a little bit to do with personalities or just in general. But so if you were to have one superpower, if you could pick one superpower, what would it be and why?
Bookkeeping. I would pick bookkeeping. Because I suck at it. So if I could have a superpower, I'd absolutely I'd want to do that. Like I'm already good at public speaking. I can get on stage. I can talk in front of 1 million people. I don't give a shit. I can make fun of myself. I can, I can do a lot of things that freak other people out, right? I often ask the questions that other people are afraid to ask. I'm good at all that. So I don't want to have a superpower that I'm already good at. I want the superpower of the thing I suck at, which is numbers. So yeah, I'll take the bookkeeping superpower.
And looks like Mike just chimed in late. Mike Tucker, he says, I am a green blue. So I guess apparently he's taking a personality test. But so thank you, Chelsie, for joining me. I don't know if you guys have any last questions. You want to sum it up for Chelsie because we're about to wrap it up, close it down. But thank you for coming in, dropping information. And actually, you can send me the links to your program and then the free content about the color test for you guys that actually want to learn just the 4 basic colors. Because like she said, 16. I think I heard Ty Lopez talk about there might be more than that, 25 or 20 something he's studying. So different personalities. So if you want to just narrow it down to 4, actually take this free training from Chelsie. So if you guys don't have any other questions, she'll send me all those links. I'll come back, put it in the comments, or actually I can give you her page or her,
You can just go to my website, or just go to my profile and follow me. I talk about it all the time on there.
Yeah, so you can find her on the website, and then I'll come back and actually put that in the comments as well. But thank you guys for joining us, and tune in tomorrow at, it'll be actually 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern, 11 o'clock Eastern time. I have another interview with a guy from Entrepreneurial from Rwanda. So you guys want to tune in for that one. But thanks, Chelsie, for hopping on. And
yeah, you bet.
Go ahead and check out our website. Thanks, guys. Have a good one, and take care.